Welcome back to Venom Motorsports. So what we're going to be doing today is, this is an old customer unit. There's nothing wrong with it. It fires up, starts nice, there's nothing wrong. It runs actually really nice. But the customer, I got to hold the brake, so let's do that. Fires right up. But the customer wants a little bit more out of it. What he wants is he wants an upgraded carb installed. So this is a perfect opportunity. I'm going to show you how to install this Mikuni carb here, and we're going to go ahead and install it on the Grizzly. So we can shut that off for now. So I'm going to get my camera in place. You're not going to need many tools: an 8mm socket, a Phillips screwdriver, an 8mm wrench, and a 10mm wrench, and that's it. So let's get everything we need, and we'll get started here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to come down. We're just going to go to the side here, and we're going to start getting the old carb off. I'm going to grab a light too, so I'm going to get my camera better. And I'm going to grab a light, and we're going to get started there real quick. There we go. We don't have to take any fairings or anything off on this bike, or on this ATV. It's pretty easy to get to, so we can get to the carb that way. Like I said, I'm just going to grab my chair now. All right, so first thing you're going to want to do is take your intake off. So you're going to need your 8mm. Get the intake bolts. I'm going to use my socket on this one. The other side, this side I can use a socket, I think. Oh, no, I can't. All right. Right. Now I'm just going to go to the other side. I'm going to grab the other 8mm. There's another 8mm on the other side. So I'm going to just go loosen it up, and I'll be right back. Okay, got my other bolt off. Let's go ahead and we're going to pull the carb out and down. If you have that other overflow hose, just pull it over. And we're going to get the carb down. Then we're going to unscrew the top. Now, you're going to want to go to the other side to your fuel petcock. Which is right here, and shut it off. You'll notice the carb's leaking gas already. So that's why we shut it off. It's leaking the way I have it sitting right now. It's leaking out the overflow. So now the gas is off. Now we can go ahead and pull our fuel line off, which is right there. Just put that over there for now. And we can remove our carb completely and out of the way. And then we can take off our needle valve. So our needle valve, we can actually do it right here. Now all you do to take the needle valve off is compress the spring with your thumb. Push it all the way up like that and hold it with your thumb and finger. And then just get the cable off the needle valve, and then we can pull the whole top of the carb off here. There we go. So, of course I knocked that carb over and it's spilling gas all over the place. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to get our new carb out. I'm going to show you all the parts did, and we're going to get started. Okay, so we have our old carb here. What I want you to do is take these 8mm bolts off the intake, because we're going to use the original intake, because the other one forces the carb to go too high if you put it on the back, and it kind of, everything in the front, you can put it out the front too, but I find with this intake it works the exact same. And even if we're using the intakes and it's a little bit smaller, the carb is still pushing the gas through the intake, so there's still lots of fuel going through. You're going to notice a big difference in it no matter what. So I don't mind using the original intakes for it. So we're going to get the new one out of the box here, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's our new carb. It comes with these two vacuum lines on it. One's a drain line and the other one's an air line, so you don't have to worry about that. It also comes with a piece of fuel line, so if you have to add to your fuel line, which happens sometimes if your fuel line's a little bit too short, there's an extra bit in here. So now when we go and we take out our needle valve, I'll show you the difference in the needle valves and how much gas this one pushes through. So if you look at these two needle valves, this is the upgraded one, this is the stock one. You'll notice right away that it's going to let just the whole chamber is bigger in this carb, so it's it lets a lot more fuel in. So now we can go ahead, we can put our needle valve on our throttle cable. And again, we did this over here, so we're just going to slide it over here so we can show you. Now here is our throttle line, so we can go ahead and put that in there. You can push it right in that rubber boot, just like that. Now we can go ahead and put our spring on. Like that. And there we go. So our needle valve is already on, so we don't have to worry about that. That's all taken care of. So now inside the box here that you get, you're also going to get a new fuel filter, like this. So you can go ahead and change that as well. I'll show you that there in a minute. But you get some bolts and nuts. You're going to need these. So let's go ahead and we're going to put in the new bolts and nuts. And then we can put the air filter and stuff on after. But we want to put, like I said, we want to put the carb to, and you can use your black plastic part from the original intake, and you're going to put it right over the top of there. So the rubber goes to the flat part of the intake, just like that, and it seals perfectly. There's no gaps anywhere. And then we're going to put our intake like that, and we shove our bolt through like that, and then we just put our nut on. Put the nut on the back of it, and then I have to do the other side, same thing. Just like that. My choke up, so start my nut on it. So you want to make sure that that's nice and tight. So you want to make sure that the bolts are nice and tight. If you forget to tighten this, it is not going to run right. It's going to keep running funny. And the reason it's going to keep running funny is because it's sucking air at the intake, and you can't have that. So this is why you need your 10mm wrench, just for behind here when you tighten this. So you want to make sure it's nice and snug. If, like I said, if there's any gaps in there, or it's not tight enough, it will leak air and it won't run right. It'll be up and down, and you won't be able to set a constant idle, and it'll most likely bog out when you're trying to ride. So there we go. So that's on there like that. So I'm going to run my cable in a sec, and then we'll mount the carb. So the only thing that I went ahead and did was put the air filter. I pushed the air filter on. So now I'm going to tighten that, and you just need a flat screwdriver. Okay. All right, so now we're going to put this over here. And make sure that you have a gasket here. I left the original gasket. It's working perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. It's brand new. Now we're just going to go ahead and put a bolt in there. Oh, I'm an idiot. So actually we're going to take that back out of there, so don't put it in there yet. It's going to be hard to press the throttle if we don't put the needle valve back in the carb, I guess, eh? So what we're going to do is, this is the needle valve in our top. So you're going to want to line up this part right here with the little niche in it with this idle screw right here, and make sure that that little niche, the line on the other side slides all the way down, but the niche is for the, like I said, the idle screw. So you want to make sure. Now we can go ahead and put the top back on. So I'm gonna pull that back now. There we go. And if you feel up on the top, you have lots of room for your throttle cable. It's exactly where it's supposed to be. So now we can go put our bolts back in. I'm going to go ahead and put the bolt in on the other side, and then I'll tighten it, and then I'll come back and tighten this one. And then let's get some gas rolling through this and get it started. So the other side's tightened up, so let's tighten up this side. And we're going to go put our fuel line on. But first, we're going to adjust our throttle cable. So our throttle cable now is a little bit long, which isn't a big deal. So what we're going to do is there's an adjuster right here. We're just going to open that adjuster. About that much, yeah. Maybe we can go a little bit more. About that much, then I'm going to run my lock nut up to it. Lock that. Got my two rubbers, put them back in place. Just like that. Now when I grab the throttle, it's right there. Okay, now we can put our fuel line on, and let's try it and see if it starts. So you'll remember there's the vacuum lines off this side. I didn't change the fuel filter, but you can. So my fuel line's right here. The fuel filter is old, but I'll change it in a couple minutes. I just want to make sure everything's running good first. So you're going to want to pop off. There's a little rubber cap on your fuel line right there where the fuel line goes. And I'll go right down because I want to show you where the nipple is, where you plug into. There it is. So that little brass fitting right there, that's where your fuel line goes. There you go. So our fuel line's on. It's not kinked or anything, so I'm going to turn my gas on. Let some fuel run through that. Alrighty. So now, this is your choke right here, a little black lever. You're going to want to lift it up. So it's up. So let's try it, see if it starts. And then I can change my fuel filter if I want. Just want to remove everything so it's not all rattling once I start it. Now with this type of choke, this is a vacuum choke on it. And with that type of choke, it might rev up higher when you choke it. Door chokes don't tend to do that, but vacuum chokes do. So let's see what happens. that's it, guys. That's how you install the Mikuni carb on a Grizzly. And like I said, it's running beautifully right now. So I'm going to take it for a rip up the warehouse and see what happens.